All right, guys. So welcome to my podcast. This is episode 1. On this episode, we got. You want to introduce yourself?
Nico, or Nicoboomin.
Nicoboomin. He's gonna be interviewing me and letting y'all guys know how it all started. Nico, what is your position? What do you do with this?
So I'm the marketing director. I handle all the content, all the YouTube videos, the Instagram reels that you see, the Patreon, the website. I'm behind most of that, and yeah, that's what I do. I'm here on this episode 1, just to kind of help out, because I know a lot of people want to know more about Andrew. They ask a lot of questions, and I've seen a few comments asking for a podcast. So yeah, that's what we're doing today.
Sweet, man, sweet. Let's do it.
So Andrew, let's see, how far back should we go? How many siblings do you have?
I have 6 siblings.
6 siblings.
Yes.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes.
So what was growing up for you like? What?
Growing up, we were pretty. We didn't have a lot of money. We were pretty poor. We had to walk everywhere, go to the store. I remember grocery shopping. We'd walk all the way to HEB or take the bus. So, just growing up was just a struggle. We didn't have anything handed to us. We had to earn everything we had.
So nobody was doing real estate in your family then?
Nobody.
It sounds like.
Yeah, nobody. I'm like the only one in my family that's into real estate, contracting. I have nobody that started the business and then handed it to me. So I've just created this business off of nothing.
That's very interesting. So, because right now we're in actually one of your latest flips that you just finished up, right?
Yeah, we just finished it. Yes, sir.
So can you tell them a little bit more about this one? How you came across it?
Yeah, so this one was actually, it's interesting, man, because like 2 years ago on this one, I had walked it and I was going to be the general contractor, and the investor had all these plans. I remember walking into this same exact front door, and he was like, yeah, we're going to do this. And then he walked me through the whole thing. But like in the beginning stages, like he told me everything he wanted, but he it seemed like we weren't going to work together fine. So anyways, I submitted my bid, never heard back from him. So I'm continue doing my thing, and then I see it pop up on MLS 2 years later, and it's actually a foreclosure. So this one I wanted it, man. I submitted an offer, and to be honest, it was listed at 150. 150,000. So I knew the area. I mean, how much it was pretty much almost done, but I didn't like how it was done. So I purchased it. I submitted the offer for 135, 15 grand under the asking price.
So was the property condition, was it like similar to what you've seen when you came to walk it, or was it already way further along?
No, yeah. When I walked it didn't even have any addition in the back. It didn't have flooring. It was just like a complete remodel. So yeah. And then I offered 135, and I mean, again, if you go back to some of the reels, like I put on my on some of the reels, I said I did a reel, and it said, hey man, if you want your offer to stand out, do these certain things. So I put no option. I put a high earnest money, things like that. And so I was actually one of the 7th. There was 7 offers, and I got the house. And so yeah. And what's interesting is I actually talked to someone, and they said they submitted a 150 offer, and they still went with mine. I was just amazed.
So they submitted an offer for 150. You submitted an offer for 130.
135.
135. They go with yours.
They go with mine.
They take less money.
Less money.
Why? Why would they take less money?
I think it's my terms, man. I put no option. I didn't want no inspection. I put the closing date for 5 days. These people were like the bank. I mean, because it was a foreclosure. They're like probably like, no, this guy's serious. He's not gonna waste our time. The other one probably had inspection, 7-day option period. And that some of these banks don't want to do it. They're just like, let's get it out the way, and that's what happened.
Trying to get it out of their hands.
Yeah,
you were the guy for it.
I was the guy, and it's yeah. I guess I was meant to have it, man.
So how many? So this is of how many this year? Because we're in. It's April. How many do you think you've done this year?
Man, I lost count, man. It's got to be more than 5 at least.
Okay. And it hasn't always been this fast, right? When did it start to pick up like this?
I think when I started this showing my work out there, you know what I mean? Just kind of letting people know, hey, because before you were on the team, hey, you seen some of my TikToks,
Yeah,
remember?
I did.
I had some TikToks and I mean, and things like that. So I think once,
Because those TikToks that I saw, and you guys can go back and see, he was doing videos by himself, like explaining the renovation stuff. That was, I think, 2021 maybe, and 2022 for sure.
yeah,
2022 for sure is a lot of videos. So how far along were you then, at that point, when you were making those videos? Were you already kind of far?
Yeah, because we were doing some big remodels, and we did the Cedar Street, that big 2-story, 3-story house in King William. So we were already up there, but I think it started maybe like I want to say maybe like 6 years ago. That's when I started showing out more because I was doing a lot of the handyman stuff and things like that. But
What made you want to like start making videos? Why'd you just like pull out your phone and like set it up? Because I see you were like in a house, you just kind of set up your phone somewhere and you're kind of just explaining like what you did. And it's kind of cool, to be honest. You're early.
Yeah, I think I've had that inspiration, man, just to kind of show the work and get out there and be out there. So yeah, man, I remember I did do one on my phone and I was explaining the framing process and all that, but it probably didn't reach a lot of people, you know, but still, man, I think I've always had that inspiration to be to be on camera and to let people know, man, like what the do's and don'ts and stuff, because you know if I have the knowledge, I'll share it, man, seriously.
So that was 2022 when you posted those videos. To somebody on the outside, that probably looks like the beginning to them, since. So,
Yeah.
But you're already way further along. So how long have you had the renovations come, AAV Renovations?
So in all, we've had the business for 9 years.
9 years.
9 years, yeah.
Okay.
It started off for the handyman services, which we were already kind of pumping out there, man. We were doing like 3 to 4 make readies a week. So I mean, I think when I created the AAV, I was already in it, man. I was like, okay, I got to create a business because I'm getting too much customers. And so when we started the handyman services, then we progressed to the renovations.
Oh, okay. I see. You kind of just switched the name a little bit.
Yeah.
You didn't like, what happened? You didn't like handyman anymore?
Yeah, no, it's just, you know, we started doing bigger jobs, man. And if I'm going to be doing bigger remodels and dealing with bigger people, then they're not going to be like, yeah, this is the handyman doing my $1 million job, you know?
Yeah.
So I didn't, the handyman worked for the jobs I was doing, and then we had to switch over to the renovations.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're doing big things now, but from when the conversation started, you were talking about how, you know, it was kind of rough growing up. So that's a stark contrast from then to now. There's probably a lot in between, but I actually saw a comment. I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not, but somebody was like, "Hey man, I actually saw you locked up a few years ago." Like, oh, man. And I was like, "Oh, okay. Is that Are you cool? Are you cool with talking about that?
Yeah, man.
Sharing a little bit more about that because yeah. So how long were you locked up for?
6 years.
6 years here in San Antonio?
No, not in San Antonio. I was in Texas, but not in San Antonio.
Not in San Antonio. Okay. Yeah. How old were you during that time?
So I was like I was barely turning like 20 years old.
Barely turning 20.
Yeah, so I was barely turning 20.
What high school did you go to?
So I went to a few high schools, and we were always growing up, we would always have to be moving around. So I went to like multiple high schools. Some in the west side of San Antonio.
Do you have any? What's your most memorable high school?
I went to Harlandale, yeah, and people know me from there too. But again, I was always into doing the bad stuff, so I was just like skipping school. I never was going to school. I was always tardy, getting suspended. It was just like my whole growing up, you know, my teen years was nothing but trouble, bro. Mm-hmm. Trouble. I would be in and out of jail. I mean, constant. Like, I remember a time where it was rare if I was out 30 days. Yeah, it was rare. And you can ask any of my family. They're like, Andrew's locked up. Yeah, and it became a norm, you know, to them because they would be like, oh, he's locked up. Okay, let's see how long he's going to last this time. And so it was crazy, man.
Was it in there that you kind of had like, I mean, your mind had to have shifted a little bit, right? You kind of had to have a
Yeah,
change in perspective.
yeah, because the reason is I was in there, man, and I was doing just acting a fool and getting in trouble still and things like that. And then I remember I was just sitting in the day room, man, and I was just sitting there and I was like looking up because you're in the prison, dude. It's like 3 tiers, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like thinking. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, what? It just hit me, bro. I was like, what the hell am I doing? Like, why am I wasting my time? Because I had blocked everything out, man. Like, the world, I blocked everything out. My world was in there. So, like, it's crazy, man. It just takes over. And so, I guess once that hit me, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, I just wanted to not go back, you know what I mean? Because you see people come back. You see people, because you're there for a long time. You're there
So it was kind of like an epiphany. Like you were just kind of sitting there in the day room, like you said, and it just kind of hit you. Like one moment you're just like, no, like this is not me. Like I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah,
Is
man.
that kind of feeling?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it was. It was like I shouldn't be here. I'm not. Because I'm not. I tell that I can do things. I'm a real hustler, things like that. So I was like, I felt that wasn't my life, man. So,
you had more for you. Like there's more out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so before you got out, you were most likely motivated, right? You wanted to make some money, like you said, you're a hustler.
Yeah.
So as soon as you got out, what was the first thing you did? Do you remember what you did the first day you got out?
The first day I got out, it was night. I think it was a night, man. And then the next day I went job hunting, bro.
The next day.
Yeah,
so
man. I swear.
So you went into jail at 20. You're there 6 years. The next day after you got out, you went job hunting. That was the first thing you did.
First thing, bro. I went job hunting. It took me, honestly, it took me 3 days, I believe, or 2 or 3 days, I don't remember, but to find a job, bro. I was like just hunting. I was just like, I need to get a job. There's no way.
3 days. It took them 3 days to find a job after
Yeah.
serving 6 years in jail. Some people can't find a job and they've been looking for a job for months. And
Oh,
they're not
yeah.
haven't even been in jail.
Exactly.
So that's crazy.
And there's some people that's been in jail and they're like, hey, I can't find a job because of my background or this and that. But bro, there's jobs everywhere. You just gotta be motivated. You gotta want a job, you know?
Yeah. So what was that job?
It was fencing.
Fencing,
Bro. And I didn't know what the hell I was getting myself into.
What was that like?
It was hard labor, bro, because we were doing these fences that are concrete, you know. They're concrete posts and they're concrete panels. So you're basically laying these posts out and then you're sliding the panels in. Once we set all the posts, come back, set panels in. It's a whole
There's
thing.
like the ones on the side of the highway that you see?
Yeah.
When it's
yeah.
like those pillars and then those thin kind of concrete panels?
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Those and they would send us to Austin sometimes, and all I wanted to do was work, bro. So I was just like, okay, let's do it.
So you were excited.
I was the one to volunteer. Let's go out of town, and I would spend weeks. We would come back every Friday, but man,
You'd be going out weeks at a time.
Yeah, I remember this jackhammering in Austin, Texas. We were doing fences up there, and I'm trying to keep up with these people because, man, these people are tough. They're like in
Hard
it.
workers.
Yeah, years, man. There was a guy there 15 years, bro. 15, and that's all he was just like in it, just jackhammering.
So how long were you with that company? How long did you do the fencing for?
I want to say a few years, man. It's not coming to me exactly how long, but I want to say.
After that, what did you do?
After that, when I was working for the fencing company, I got promoted and I was a supervisor, and they gave me my truck and everything like that. Credit card, a cell phone, and I was in charge. They even gave me a diesel truck. It was a Ford. It was a badass because I'd been locked up, and at the time, to believe it or not, I had this big tattoo right here on my neck. You probably can't see it.
No,
like
you
it's
can't
gone.
see it.
I took it. I got it lasered off, but I had this big tattoo right here. I had tattoos, and I was like, these people are giving me an opportunity, and they're giving me a company truck, and I'm a boss. I'm like, what? Like, so
you couldn't believe it. They're putting all this trust in you. Did you have a little bit of imposter syndrome? Like, did you feel a little bit of anxiety at the time? Like, oh crap! Like, they're giving me all this trust.
Yeah, they saw, bro. I was out there. I was hustling, and they're like, nah, this guy, he's gonna be a supervisor. He's gonna be something. So they put me in the truck, and I was in charge. I had my own crew and everything. Well, what I was getting at is I'd have to go to the shop a lot, and the shop is off of like out there by 1604, and there was this plumbing company I would pass by all the time, and then I saw the name and I was like, man, plumbing, and it just, I guess, passing by, bro, every
Just
single day,
sparked your curiosity.
something.
Like, I wonder what's going on. In that
Yeah,
plumbing
and I was
space.
like, plumbing, oh, it's not okay. I'm like, so it just was interest, and then one day I was just like, you know what, let me just go apply, and apply in there.
Did you know? Did you? So there was a plumbing place by your current workplace.
Yeah.
You would just pass by all the time. Did you know any plumbers at the time?
Well, the crazy thing is my brother actually knew one of the guys, and I think that he was a supervisor. He's on the job, so it kind of worked out.
Did you hear
know
good things about the company ever? Or like,
yeah, yeah. I mean, plumbing. Plumbers, and I was hearing, oh, plumbers are expensive, and things like that. So I was like, okay, yeah.
They must make some good money.
Yeah,
Then.
I was like, man, okay, maybe I want to be a plumber.
Okay, so you went and applied. Did they hire you? Was it like on the spot, or do you have to wait a few days?
So what happened is I walked in there. I talked to the main guy, the main guy, and I was like, hey man, I'm really looking for a job. I don't know nothing about plumbing. I said, but I work down the street I named the company. I said, look, I'm a supervisor. Like, I shouldn't even be here right now. I'm like, I'll probably get in trouble. But I'm like, I have my company truck, everything. And then he's all like, oh, okay. He's like, you know what? He's like, I can't pay you what you make now, because I told him how much I was making. I was like, and I was trying to get a little bit more, because of course, nobody.
Trying to move up.
Yeah, I'm trying to move up.
Not go backward.
Exactly. And he's like, I can't. He actually was offering me $2 lower than what I was making, bro. And I was like, fuck. I was like,
you didn't take it, did you?
Yeah.
You did?
Yes, bro. I took it. I was like, fuck it. You know what? Because I was like, man, I knew that in plumbing you can go places, bro. You can be, and I felt at this company, yeah,
there's more room for growth. At the plumbing company, you felt there was more room for growth.
Yeah, and at the other one, I'm telling you, there was a guy there for 15 years, and he was like, and I'm not gonna discuss pay, but man, it wasn't a lot he was making.
So you're like, okay, this guy's been here 15 years. It's probably not that much room for growth.
Yeah, so I was like, and I know plumbers, man. I see the company trucks passing by. So I'm like, I know you can get somewhere with this. So, yeah, man, I jumped into it. I took a pay cut. I gave my truck. I gave everything back. I gave it to, I told them, hey, man, I'm actually, because I had been asking them for a raise too. And then I told them, look, it's not going to work. And they're like, just wait, next week I'll be on a check. And I was like, nah, I'm going to get hired somewhere else. And I gave them back the company truck and stuff like that. And they're like, man, and I was like, but I'm gonna work till. I told them I'm gonna work till Friday, and then they're like, no, that's fine. You just you're good. They were so pissed off that they're like, no, you don't work till Friday. That's it.
Oh, like nah, don't even worry about it.
Yeah,
you're good as of now.
Yeah, you're good as of. I was like, yeah.
You're like, dang, really? I took care of you. Like, I did good.
Yeah, and it's just and matter of fact, the main guy wasn't there. So when he found out I quit, bro, he fucking went personally to my house, and he was like, hey, Andrew, what's going on? And I was like, he was like one of the big dogs, and he's like, hey, man, what's going on? Is it the new supervisor we hired or something like that? And I was like, no.
He just didn't understand that somebody would leave.
Yeah, he's like, what? Like, you have a truck, you have your own crew. Like, what? Why would you leave? And so, yeah, man, that was a crazy story. But I at the end, I just had to be strong, bro. And I told him I can't, man. I'm done. And so I went into the plumbing.
So how long were you a plumber? How long were you at that company for? So was it true? Was there a lot of room for growth within the company?
Yeah, definitely, man. Because you get your license after 5 years. You put in the work. You got to get like 8,000 hours of work. Yeah, and then after that,
you ended up getting your plumbing license.
Yeah, so I'm actually a licensed plumber right now, man.
Still to this day.
To this day, yeah.
So it came in handy. I'm assuming.
Yeah, it did, man. And actually, I'm probably gonna start. I'm gonna start studying for my master's, and take that soon, just to have it under my belt.
Nice. So do you know how many years you're at the plumbing company?
So I was there about. I want to say about 4 or 5 years, because I had to get my license.
And you're doing a lot of like residential stuff or commercial?
It's mainly commercial, man. We were doing a lot of schools. I was working in a school. Man, it's not easy work, man. Trust me. Especially in commercial, you're doing schools that are 3 stories high, and they're huge, man. Thousands of square feet. So you got to be like, especially as me, as starting off, I'm an apprentice. So you're like
You'd
basically
be confused when you show up. Probably you're like, what am I supposed to do here?
yeah, and they put you with a journeyman, and your journeyman's like, hey, go, I need this fitting right here, and the trailer's like fucking thousands of feet away. So
you
there
need to
you
make
are,
sure.
like, oh, going real quick to get it because you know you want to be a good apprentice, you know, and every plumber needs a good apprentice. So
would you ever like run to the trailer, but like in the back of your head, you're like, I don't really know what tool you need.
Yeah, when I first started, man, it was because you have thousands of fittings,
right? That's what.
Yeah, and you're like, what the
He's
hell?
like, go get this, and he's like probably a little bit agitated or like frustrated, so you don't want to tell him you don't know.
Yeah,
you're probably running like, like, what do I grab? Like,
yeah, I'm all looking up on Google. I'm like, oh shit, okay, that's what it looks like.
Okay,
but nah, man. And then sometimes I would go grab the fitting, and I'll take a while to where I come back and be like, oh, I don't need it no more. And I'm
like, wow. So you're like, okay.
So, but man, that was a good experience, man. I
you
loved
learned a lot there.
But again, you know, I've always wanted. I'm a hustler. I always wanted more and more. So during that process of working for that company, that's when I started doing like handyman stuff. Like so, I would get off of work 3:30, and I'll go straight to a job. Like someone would say, hey, I need a door installed, and I was always like always a handy person, so I was like, oh, okay, I could put a door.
So people knew you for just being like a handyman. They're like, okay, he could probably do this.
Yeah, so they're like, I need a door installed, I need trim installed, I need this. So I was there. Oh, I want my room painted, and I was like, bro, it can't be that hard to paint a room. I was like, so I was always looking, bro. I was always looking into things. Like if I couldn't do it, I was gonna figure out a way how to do it. Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, man.
So you were plumber by day, handyman by night.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
And so what sparked your interest in real estate then?
I think
did you just pass by a renovation one day or
no? You know, it started because again the handyman stuff. I was working for a gentleman, and he owned an apartment complex, and I was the maintenance guy, bro. I was doing the maintenance. You know, I'll go after work. They'll be like, okay, Andrew, we need this. So I'm running I'm doing the plumbing during the day.
Yeah.
And I'm already like got a list of things to do when I get off of work for the apartment complex. So I'm like, okay, shit, I'm heading over there. Bro, I was working till 9, 10 o'clock at night. I don't care. I'm there, you know. And so, and that's how I learned a lot too, bro, because he had apartments. So I would have to figure out issues. This thing's leaking. Okay, what could it be? A cartridge, or it could be this. And I learned a lot from that apartment complex. So, man, it really is. Man,
so that's what you were doing for a while.
Yeah.
So how did that get you into real estate?
So the gentleman there, he offered me. He's like, hey man, he saw how I was a motivated individual. He saw I worked hard, and I think that he looked out for me for sure. Because he offered me his triplex. He's like, hey, I'm gonna sell this triplex. It's owner finance, and he told me the terms and things like that. And man, I didn't even own a home at the time. I was renting. I was renting a house. So. He's like, these are the terms, and he wanted like 15 grand down, and I was like, 15 grand. I was like, I had some money saved up, you know what I mean? So I was like, I gotta hustle the rest. So I hustled the rest of the money, and I jumped into it, man.
How much do you know? If you're comfortable with sharing, did you know how much you had to hustle within that short period of time? Like, how much were you short?
I think I was
you had some saved.
Yeah, I think I was short like $5 grand, bro.
So it was basically like preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah.
You didn't really know you were saving for that moment, right?
I didn't.
You were just kind of saving because you wanted to have some security.
Yeah, some security, savings, and be like, hey, okay, I'm working. I have money saved up just in case.
And then when he told you, was it like a no-brainer? Because I mean, you're just at that time you're a handyman.
Yeah.
You don't really know about real estate. Like, and you mentioned owner finance. Most people, or the average person, doesn't really get too far into owner finance. They have an idea, but especially for like a triplex, and you're gonna have people in there. You don't even own a house yet.
Yeah.
So what was that like for you? Were you confused? Like, why is he offering me? Or
no, it's because there's opportunity. I saw it, bro. It's because of course, the rents being picked up at the apartment complex and things like that. So I saw more. I was like, dang, this is like really like something to have. I mean, so when he presented me with that triplex, I was like, bam, that's like 3 people that are gonna pay me rent.
As
And
soon as you buy it.
yeah, as soon as I buy it, well, the next month I'm gonna have the next month's rents, and they're gonna pay me, and I just gotta pay the bills, the mortgage, and all that stuff. So I was like, man, and I just gotta keep up with the maintenance, which I'm doing for other people. So I was like, dude.
So you're like, take my money. So it didn't sound too good to be true. Then you're like, I'm all in.
Oh no, it was a deal, bro. I was lucky to get that for sure.
Dang, that's crazy. A lot of people, I mean, to you saw the opportunity, but a lot of people probably wouldn't have bought it. Or, I mean,
yeah, of course.
A lot of people don't see the opportunity in things like that.
Yeah, they would have been like, no, or I don't know,
or
man.
too scared to lose, because that's $10,000. It probably took you quite a bit of time to save that. It takes just any. I mean,
yeah,
it's hard to save $10,000 for the average person. So
for sure.
You having that and willing to just throw it out there, that's crazy. That's crazy, bro.
I took a risk, bro, and it was actually
worth it.
It was worth it, bro. It worked out.
So that was how you jumped into real estate. How long after that until you got your next property?
So after that, I think after I learned about the owner finance, then I purchased my first home owner finance. Because it was
the home you were gonna live in, your personal home.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I purchased a home, and after that, it just took over, bro. I just like I was looking for deals, I was looking for this, but at the same time, I was mainly not focused on real estate. I was mainly focused on on my business because, bro, I had so many people messaging me. Many people depended on me, so I couldn't just like drop everything. Like I would work every day.
So how long was the process before you were able to kind of focus more on the real estate?
So I think what happened is I continued the handyman services, and we were just like getting a whole bunch of work, man, a whole bunch. We were just getting houses now, doing 3 to 4 make readies a week, and then they started offering me bigger jobs, and they're like, "Hey, Andrew, I have this house. Can you come look at it?" And I look at it, and they're like, it was like a complete remodel, man, but minor, not crazy. So
yeah.
I was like, "Oh crap, okay." So then I started doing that, and I started doing more of that, of the doing remodels for other people, and then it got into the full remodels to where I did one, I did another, and then I was like, okay.
So when you were starting out, were these mainly like investors, or were these just homeowners who you kind of just heard of you?
Investors, they were all investors.
All investors.
Yeah.
When you were starting out, all investors.
All investors, yes.
Nice. Okay, and how did you like that?
Yeah,
cool?
I did. To be honest, I really didn't know the difference.
Yeah,
I was just like,
same.
I was just like, work's coming in. I don't know, like, because I'm in my prime, so I really don't know what the difference is.
Nice. And did you have a crew already, like your own kind of crew with the handyman services by that time?
Yeah, I hired some people, and they were with me, and then of course that's when I started learning how to sub work out too, because I was like, okay, I can't do this. Well, if I hire this person for this one job and I still make money, I was like, why not? Yeah, I was like, it's faster. So yeah, bro, I that's how I started getting into subcontracting, and then we blew up, man. We blew up to where like we didn't really have time. Well, we did have time, but we were really trying to just focus more on the big remodels, because we saw the income coming in, the bigger checks, and we're like, oh damn, this is okay. And so when you see that, you're like, okay, these little jobs are taking most of our time, so we got to focus more on these and kind of just finish them off and kind of not take them on anymore.
That's fascinating. So kind of came across being a contractor by accident. You're kind of just running the handyman services, and then you get so much work, you're like, oh crap, I got to find somebody so they can do this.
Yes, exactly. That's how it just came up with.
And has it always been kind of like... So I'm around Andrew a lot, and I see that he's kind of a people's person. He's not quick to get angry. He holds his temper, and he's kind of a people's person. Have you always been that way? Is that something you picked up with the business? Like,
yeah, I think because starting off, I mean, I had to learn a whole bunch of stuff again. Like I had to change my whole ways, the thinking, everything, man. So I started getting more proper in my speech, and then I wouldn't let things affect me, because if people telling you, oh, do this, do that, and you're like, oh, don't be telling me that stuff,
Yeah.
So I kind of have to, okay, you're the boss, you're the owner of this house, okay, and it's whatever you want, so and
You
so I
kind of put
think,
your pride aside.
yeah, man, and I just kind of just started being, a different person, man. And then I had, like I mentioned, I had this tattoo, a big tattoo. I removed that before I got more into the
renovations.
renovations and handyman services. I removed that tattoo. I was just like, it's not me no more, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to present myself. So
So, after that point, did you kind of fall in love with contracting? Was it kind of something you liked? Because did you have a lot of employees at then? Was it more than 10 or was it under 10 still?
it was under 10.
Under 10.
Yeah.
But was it kind of like a light switch? Like, okay, I can kind of sub out more work, or I can maybe take on double as many jobs.
Yeah. So I think once I started getting more into learning the process and what goes first, what goes last, and how it should be organized, because anybody can do a remodel and anybody can be a contractor, but you got to know the process. You got to know what to do first, what to do next, and that's what's gonna make everything smooth, and it's gonna make you be a good contractor. So definitely, I started thinking like, man, we can take on more jobs and just go full on contracting.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, you kind of have to be a people's person because working with subcontractors is not easy.
Oh, no.
Believe it or not, they
No.
come with a lot of complaining, a lot of issues. Is that something you have you always been good at that? Like, early on, did you have trouble picking your subs, or how was that process for you? Like,
yeah, I mean, being a contractor, you gotta. I've gone through a lot of people, subcontractors, and then it just because at one point you want to be a certain contracting company, you want to be good at what you're doing, you want to have quality work. So if these people you started off with were good, but then you need to get more advanced, so you need to hire people that are more professional.
because that's your name at the end of the day. Like the work,
yeah,
that's your name, and you don't want somebody to not be doing good work, and then that reflects on you, right?
Exactly, yeah, and so you got to take pride in your work, man. That's 100%. If you take pride in your work, then you should be good, because you know there's people that comment like, hey, I need some work or whatever, and that's good. But if they're really good at what they're at, then they're gonna be busy 100%. So I think. Because I'm still doing plumbing, man. Plumbing, I've done it throughout the whole, even the handyman and the renovations. But where I did the transition into being a handyman is I pretty much just like called my supervisor one day. They had just given me a raise. It was like a $3 raise, and we were in the union, so they're usually $2 raises every year, and then they gave me a 3, and they're like, okay, you're doing really good. And the next week, man, I called him and I was like, hey, I'm gonna start my own business, and I'm quitting. And he's like, what? Again, he was shocked.
We just gave you a raise.
Yeah, he was shocked.
Did
He's
you show
like,
up to your
what?
house too, or no?
No, no, unfortunately not, man. But yeah, man, he was just like confused. He was like, all right, cool, like and I was just like, I kind of I let him know. I was like, hey, so if it don't work out, do you think I could have I could come back? He's like, and he said, yeah, definitely, man. The door's always open.
So that's cool. So you didn't burn that bridge.
No, bro.
Like, just in case.
Yeah, just in case. And I just quit, bro. I started because I already had business. I was already busy. Keep in mind, I have after work, I'm doing tons of things. So pretty much I just kind of just pushed the plumbing to the side, and I went full on handyman. And it was weird, right?
Was
You're
it
like,
scary
what the hell?
jump? Or was it weird? Do you remember like waking up the next day?
Bro, I remember.
You're like, what do I do?
I remember the first day, bro. I was like, because okay, keep in mind, I'm going to work at 7 in the morning, and I get off at 3:30
So you're
every
busy
single day.
You're busy between those hours every single day now. I mean, you were.
Yeah.
7 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Well, yeah, I'm busy, and at the same time, I'm there at a job site all day. I'm not on the roads, and that's what got me, because when I was my first day, it was like 10 o'clock, and I was like driving, and I was like, holy crap, this feels weird. Like during the day, like I'm usually at work at this time.
Oh yeah.
So it was a weird transition, man. But honestly, it was the best transition
That you could have done.
Yeah, that I could have done, man. It went from that to this, the handyman.
Do you
to
remember
the
how many rental
renovations.
properties? Oh, I'm sorry. Do you remember how many rental properties you had at that time?
At that time, I think I had just two in my house. Yeah.
And you eventually you did ramp up on the rental properties. You went crazy with those, right?
Yeah, man, I did. I was up to like 20, yeah, 20 rental properties, and I had, it was just a lot. Being a landlord is something different, man. You have people calling you because these are not newer homes. You got these
Of course, homes aren't perfect.
yeah, and they call you for this, and another one calls you for this, and they're late on their rent, and you got to evict some people. So it was just a lot, bro. And I got to the point where I was just like, man, this is too much. And I sold a few. I started selling. I was just like, for sale, for sale. I was reaching out to some wholesalers to try to sell my duplexes. So I was in that mode, bro, where I was like, just sell. Yeah, sell everything. I'm done.
You're like, I'm done with rentals. Like, were you planning on just like, okay, like I have all this money, I'm just gonna chill, or was it like, okay, let me focus on just my business? Like, let me just run my business now.
Yeah, I think it was like I was just like, it's just gonna be my business, and I have enough with my business.
Like my business is enough.
Yeah,
like, we're good.
Yeah, and then I guess what got me is just like, of course, I was having those rentals, that income coming in, the rents and all that, and then I started seeing like, oh shit,
Maybe it was worth it.
Yeah, no, I was like, man, what? Damn, okay, I only picked up this amount for rents this month, and I'm like, oh shoot, like. So that's when I was like, you know what, I need the cash flow. Cash flow is where it's at. So I just started, looking out.
So you mentioned wholesalers. You've never thought about wholesaling yourself or anything?
I've done wholesaling.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, and not intentionally. I've deals just come my way, man.
Wholesale by accident?
Yeah, wholesale by accident, man. And I'll be working at a house like this one time. I was working at a house. The people are like, "Oh, I want to sell my house," and I was like, "I'll go look at it." I looked at it. They wanted $100,000, and I was like, "Okay." It was downtown. I was like, she was like, "I want $100,000, nothing less," and I was like, "Okay, that's fine." So I got it under contract, bro. Easy, made my contract, got it under contract, and I sold it for $115,000. Yeah, to an investor. And right now, what they did is they knocked the house down, and they pretty much built these 2 duplexes on it. It was a big lot, so. Yeah, man, I make $15,000, but that's
just like that.
Yeah, just like that. So I've done maybe like 10 wholesale deals, and again, I'm not out there searching for them, but they come my way, and I just
from being in the industry, right? Because you're not wholesaling, but just by with what you're doing, you're gonna run into them, right? And opportunities are gonna come your way.
Yeah, because people are either like, oh, I want to fix my house or sell it. And then
you fix houses all the time.
Yeah, and I'll be like, hey, man, well, why fix it? Put all this money when you could just sell it. And then they're like, okay. Well, contract signed. Let's go.
Interesting. That's crazy. Wholesale by accident. Wow.
Yeah, man.
Right now, what do you see yourself doing like in the next few years? I mean,
so in the next few years, I think that we're trying to upscale the business. The renovations. We're trying to upscale it. We're doing more new builds. We've got a couple under our belt, so we want to upscale.
As far as being an investor, are you ramping up that as well? Or are you kind of with your portfolio? Or are you kind of happy where that's at?
No, I'm constantly, man. I mean, I constantly get a flip, do another one, buy and hold. If I can't sell it, then I'll refinance it. So it's just like I'm not like out there 100% like shooting out for more portfolio, but they're coming my way, and I think they're just like stacking up as I go.
So you do work for a lot of investors, right?
Yes.
Are you finding the deals for the investors? Because obviously you work with wholesalers to find your deals. Are the investors coming to you? They're like, hey, I want to start investing, and then are you helping them from like A to Z, from like finding the deal and then being the GC and helping them sell it? Or?
I've done a couple like that, but I've been dealing with a lot of new investors as well. If you're a new investor, I'll help out, man. I can go help out by the design, the colors, everything. I mean, everything you see in this house, I pretty much designed myself, the coloring, the colors of the tile. So with the new investors, I help them out, if they need guidance.
It varies.
Yeah, it varies. There's some that we do find them the deal, and then we do the work for them.
Okay, nice. So you've already seen a few people with the same kind of style, the same tile, same picture windows in front. You already seen that popping up a lot more?
Yeah, man, I've seen it. It was just like the same light fixtures, even the same backsplash. I was like, there's no way they could come up with the same thing as me and not have looked at one of my pictures. But yeah, it's all cool, man.
How many houses do you think you've done in the downtown area?
Over 100, man.
Over 100 houses.
Well, I would say over 100 houses. Period. Like, you know what I mean?
Like overall.
With
the handyman services, the renovations.
Yeah, the renovations, the make readies, and all that stuff is over 100 houses. Yeah.
So when was it that you started to kind of like find your style in like when doing these projects? Like,
I think once I started doing them for myself, yeah, because when I was doing them for other people, they picked their own things.
Okay, yeah.
So when I started doing my own flips, I started, okay, shoot, what do I do here? What do I pick here? What kind of flooring? I started looking up designs. So that's how I turned it into this style.
So these projects, they look amazing, like super high end. But I know you're an investor as well, so you have to make your money back.
Yes.
How are you doing that? Like make them look super high end, but still keeping the cost low? Are you having to source materials from different places? Is it just kind of, you've been in the industry for a while, so you know where to get the best prices from everywhere?
I would say it's not mainly the material. I would say it's mainly finding the house at the right price. You know, if I find a house where I can put in some high end stuff and still sell it at a good price, then man, it's a deal all day. You know.
Okay, so it's just buying right.
Exactly.
At the end of the day.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's why you're able to do these things.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed learning a little bit more about Andrew. Next time, he's going to be the host on the podcast.
For sure.
He'll be interviewing somebody else. But yeah, is there anything else you would like to share? Anything else?
That's it, man. I just again, yeah, thank you for watching this. I hope y'all watching my reels. Everything, all the content we put out up there every day. We're out there grinding, man, all the time.
We film a lot of content. It surprises me. I get exhausted behind the camera, so I can't imagine like running the business and also doing all this. So
yeah.
we actually have a Patreon as well, where we upload a lot of educational content and where you're able to meet Andrew. I think a lot of the value is there too.
Yeah, so, I'm excited about that, man. You know, any anybody want to get into contracting, investing, wholesaling, anything, and y'all want our help, then, you know, sign up for the Patreon, man. I think that it's cool for the new people that wanting to do something with themselves. You know, it's an investment, you know, and I think at the end of the day, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one.